Hello, everybody. Welcome to this House Coaching Institute event. I'm really glad that everybody took the time to be here today. And we're going to talk today about a very important and I think relevant and interesting theme that is design with purpose. So first of all, in behalf of the House Coaching Institute, I want to say hello to everybody, all the people that are connecting from our different social media, from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So welcome. And today, as I told you, well, we are going to have the privilege and the honor of having two of the people that I consider know the most about design with purpose, that work with this every day. And I want to say hello, and they will also say hello to you, to Kirsten Steno, which is the founder of the House Coaching Institute, and also to Sisi Salamanca, which is the headmaster of our institute. They are here with us. So Kirsten, hello. I would like you to say hello to our audience and all the people that is connecting right now with us.
Yes. Hello, everybody, and thank you for participating and spending a morning with us. I feel very honored to have this opportunity to talk about my passion and my purpose and share it with the people I love the most to work with, Sisi and with Maria Jose, and also a greeting to our wonderful team in the background who are not with us today.
Thank you very much for being with us today. And Sisi, we also would like to say hello to you, and please present yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here, honored to have you all, this wonderful audience in English. This for the first time having Kirsten live, which is a very important thing for us, having our founder. I'm pleased to welcome you to talk about the subject that I love the most, which is creative freedom and creative design together with purpose and meaning. So welcome all. Please make questions, feel free to comment, and let us know what you think about what we're talking.
Sisi, you're absolutely right. This is the first time that we have Kirsten live in all of our networks. So I really want to thank you for connecting with us and taking this time to talk about what you both said is your passion. So that's where my first question is going to go. And I want to know first, why? Why are we today talking about purpose? Why is this relevant? Why is this important? So I would like you, Kirsten, to start maybe talking about the point of view of the clients, that you work with house coaching every day. Why are we talking about this today, about purpose?
Well, first of all, I have been working as an interior designer for 32 years in my own company. And I enjoyed the aesthetics and the beauty in the 90s and the zeros about just making beautiful spaces, and people were asking for colors, cushions, curtains, the whole combination. And that's what I thought interior design would be, that it would be something that is aesthetical and practical. Then I myself was thrown into a divorce situation and had to move from my home into a rented apartment. And I never tried that before, to be in a surrounding that I didn't choose, in a life situation, actually, I didn't choose. So I just went like a crashing plane. And I thought, well, at the bottom of my pit, I'm creative. Like, I used to be creative. I used to come up with creative solutions. So I started inventing actually the house coaching tools to help myself and my little son to come back on our feet in this rented apartment. And I found out during that process that I became a much happier person. I could live a simpler life. I learned about sustainability, how I could recycle, upcycle things because I didn't have a lot of money at that time. And I tried it out with some of my clients, the tools that I had tested. And I saw that I could change the life quality through what I call compassionate home design. Like, I really care about you. I want you to have a better life through your home. And that's when I saw that it had a much deeper purpose than only aesthetical and pleasing and practical surroundings. You can actually change your life with some specific tools. At that time, I didn't know about life coaching. I just felt the connection with my client's pain. I took the time to ask about the pain and to find ways to maybe cheer them up or give them hope or be an expression of love.
That's wonderful. I think that we all can relate to that you say that the client is the center of design, and that's why purpose is so important. Yes. And Sisi, I would like also to ask you, now that we know a little bit from the point of view of the final clients and how that works with purpose, how does it work from the point of view of the institute? That you work with students every single day, why is it important and relevant to talk about design with purpose?
Okay, from the point of view of education, I find that there is a very big and increasing need of purpose and meaning in kids and young people and even adults, because the world has changed and the world needs different things than before. I suppose when I started choosing a career, productivity and earning money and being successful was the important thing. So that was the why, how we decided what career to pursue and where to work. But now I think the purpose and the meaning is the key. Like, how is it that I'm going to impact the world? How is it that I am going to help people? It's not about the money, it's not about the profession, it's not about the success, it's about the impact. How am I going to help people? But which is the best way that I can do that? So in my point of view is helping people to connect their strengths and their skills and the things that make them passionate and alive and motivated with their work. That's what we think it's important in education right now. Like, help people find their passion, their purpose, their own way to impact the world, to help the world to have a better life, the people to improve their quality of life. We know we cannot like solve all the hunger and the difficulties in the world, but we can help each person have a better life in their own homes. And that's what we are focusing on. So that's what we teach to our students, and we work with the purpose. The focus on the program all the time is the purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? Who do you want to help and how?
I think that you mentioned that the focus is the purpose. That's very important. So for all the architects and designers that are watching us right now and that would like some more information about that and about the Institute, we're going to tell you further a little bit into the conversation. Where can you find us in our social media or the website of the Institute? And also, Sisi, now that you're talking about design with purpose, I want to know, how does that look like in your everyday work? Because we know now that it's relevant, we know it's important for people who are working in design, but how does it look like for the students and for the designers and the architects that want to work with it?
Okay, I would say first of all is working on yourself. That's the first thing we do with our students, and I had to do that myself. First, before I started working with students, I had to have a lot of coaching and training so I could find which my limiting thoughts were, how to work with them, what my own purpose was, what I wanted from life, what success meant to me, like how can I design the life that I want to have in order to transmit that to the students. So the way I do it every day with the students is remember what your strengths are, what is your purpose, and we work with them through coaching sessions, individual coaching sessions, so they can find how to work in a way that they can impact their clients in a better way. We also work with coaching, so they can know what's a limiting thought, what's a belief that block them from being the best version of themselves, for being creative, being free, enjoy their work, growing as a person, as a professional, as a society member, and doing good in the world. So we work on coaching, and we also work on the Pathfinder Vision Board. That's something that came from Kirsten, from her work. And we try to combine the professional and the personal life in a way that you don't have to, like, for instance, we have a lot of moms and single moms and young moms, and they are looking to combine their work with being a mom. So we try to help them to do that. It's not okay that you have to leave your kids to be able to work. It's not okay that you have to leave your work to be able to be a mom. So that's what we do in our day-to-day basis work. Try to combine both things so they can live the best way, the best life they can have.
That's great. So I really like that you said that you need to do it first with yourself to be able to do it with your clients. You need to find your own purpose to be able to share that with other people. So that's why, dear Kirsten, I would like to ask you, how does it look like to work with purpose with final clients? Not from the point of view of the students, that Sisi already shared that with us, but what about the clients, and how is it to work with purpose with them in your projects?
Thank you, Mappy. First of all, I want to build on top of what I said before, that
yes,
I work with compassion. Like I'm really interested every morning in getting up and making the world, our world, a better place for everybody to live, to love, and to grow as a person. That is my personal purpose. I want to thank my mentors, Martha Beck, Brené Brown, and Baron Katie, for teaching me coaching tools that I could implement to interior design. Because working with purpose, like changing, transforming, not only a place, but a person, a family, a couple, bringing in love and hope and joy to the decors, and giving people something new to look forward to. That Pathfinder Vision Board that we're talking about, the path. What is your path? Because a trail is something that went before you, but what is your path? Where are you going with your life? Where are you going with your family? What is the purpose of even having a kitchen? What is the purpose of choosing colors? What is the purpose of hanging things on the wall? If it doesn't have a specific meaning for you, then it can be the right color that matches with a cushion, but it's not impactful and it doesn't really have a purpose in your life. So just like Marie Kondo says that if an item doesn't spark joy inside of you, I agree completely with her. It's really important. But that's just one of our many tools that we use to add purpose to the decors of a home. And also, if you don't know the purpose of a room, how can you decorate it? Like it took me 2 years to figure out in my new home where to have the bedroom, because it didn't really make purpose until I chose the right room, and then we could start decorating. So I use it online with my clients. I use it one-on-one to ask specific questions about what they're afraid about. What do you fear? What do you hate? Show me some images of what you dislike, first of all, so we can remove the limiting thoughts, and then show me images of what you love, what really ticks something inside of your heart. And then I can move away from the fear and towards the dream, the joy, and the love of a beautiful life. And when people have lost hope, and they have during the COVID, the fear of a new pandemic coming on, or financial or crisis, or working from home, you want to kill your spouse or the kids, throw them out the window, that there is so much anger and fear and emotion, and we can deal with that in house coaching. And I find that to be, in this current time, a beautiful purpose for home design, which usually is a little bit shallow.
I think that what you're talking about is absolutely relevant. And I would like you, now that you're talking about this, to share some stories with us, some of these stories that are very like inspiring. I know because for some years I've been working with you, and I know that you have had hundreds and thousands of clients. And I would love to know, and I'm sure that all the people that is connected with us today would love to know some of the stories that you can tell us about house coaching and about working with design, with purpose.
Yes, it's really about killing your darlings, because I have so many beautiful stories. And I know when we did the rehearsal, we were talking about which story to tell, because you have your favorites too. But I actually decided to go with Ala's story, because that is one of the stories that really unlock the potential of interior design. Because it happens online. That means for you who are interested in working with this, you can be sitting in Bali right now and do house coaching, which is a nice thought, because in the future would be able to. But I was having this client who found me on the internet, Ala, and she wanted to meet me in her kitchen because that was a beautifully decorated set. And the problem was her living room. The problem with her living room was that she was sleeping on a mattress with a dog, with bags all over the place. And I asked her to show me the room with the computer in front of her, and to ask about the walls, what she liked and what she disliked. And it was really simple, because all the walls were empty. She hated everything. And then she said, pointed out to the window right in front of her, "I hate that tree." And I said, "So why do you hate that tree?" "It blocks my view. I cannot get rid of it. And I feel stuck in this apartment, and I want to sell this place. It belonged to my grandmother, and I don't want to live here. For 2 years, I came into this living room with no lights on it to sleep here." So I used the coaching, and then I told her, so that thought, "I hate the tree," and I always have some kind of an item that I put in front of the screen, and then I say, "That thought is now with me in Denmark. I know you love it, but you're not going to have it. So how do you feel when you look at the tree and you cannot think the thought anymore?" And she said, like 9 out of 10 would do, "I feel free. I feel light." So I said, okay, so there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the tree, but how you think about the tree, that's the problem. That's the pain, which is basic coaching, not quantum physics. And she said, yes, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with the tree. So I said, could we turn the thought around to something positive? Like, I don't know, can you come up with something? And she said, like, "I love the tree." And I said, yes, please come up with an example, because the brain will only let go of the limiting thought if you can prove that it was wrong and that another truth is equally true. And then she says, "I love the tree because it has 4 seasons, it changes. I love the tree because the birds live in it." And all of a sudden she took a break and said, "I respect the tree." And I was like, wow, I respect the tree because it doesn't move at all. It just stands there. I said, so where in your life is there life inside of you, or no life, no longer? And where can you not move? Because the tree is a reflection of you. And what about changing? Why can you not change? And then she started crying and getting emotional. And that's where compassion hits in. And also my humor, because then I give her a handkerchief on the computer and I tell her, I'm used to people crying, it's part of my job, and they're happy tears. It's good, it's healing tears. Just let them go. And she tells me that she has to work in her parents' restaurant, and it's going very bad, and they're fighting, and she's afraid they're going to divorce. She can't leave them, she can't stay, and she just can't stand the life that she's having at the age of 28. She doesn't know where to go from here. So I tell her, how can you live with the new truth? Like that you love that tree and knowing that it represents part of you. How can you embrace and give yourself some more love? And maybe just be a daughter to your parents and tell them that you cannot live under these circumstances anymore. I'm a parent myself. I would hate my son to be dependent on me. So she did. And then she looked at the room, she looked at the tree, and all of a sudden I heard him. That's when the thought is going off. I'm going to IKEA. I want to decorate this place in a folkloric style, like my grandmother. And she started painting the walls a week after that, went to IKEA, and she sent me photographs 3 weeks later. It had changed her life. It had opened up her creativity, and it opened her heart for self-love. How could I have done that as an interior designer without any purpose? But knowing what my purpose is to be an expression of love and to give hope to anybody, any hope, and faith in a new creative future. That's what makes me work every day with my clients, because I know that interior design is a transformational process that is so beautiful.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think that we have to find this purpose for our clients. They have to find it with our help. But also as designers or as architects or as interior designers, we also have to work with purpose. And that is like a little bit the other side of the coin that I would like Sisi to tell us a little bit about, like some stories of how is it for the students. We know now how it is for the final clients and that beautiful impact that Kirsten already described. I want you to describe a little bit for us, how is it for the students, Sisi?
Well, I think it all starts with the concept that a lot of our designers, when they start the process, they have this concept about what success is all about. And I think that comes from everything we've learned from the past, that you have to gain a lot of money, that you have to be famous, that all those things, that you have to be perfect in everything you do, that you cannot commit any mistakes, that you have to show the world how wonderful you are. And that's mostly the limiting thoughts that they have when they come to us, and they are so full of fears and so stressed, and they want to do good in the world, but they can't do good to themselves because they are tired, they are exhausted for working so many hours, and they can't be creative because they are tired and they need to earn money. And so that's when we come and we start with the process. And I want to talk to you about one specific student that we had. She's a very successful designer in Peru, and she had a lot of clients, and she was successful in this way that we think that success was. But she was so tired and so drained, and she didn't have a personal life. She loves to do yoga, but she didn't have time to do yoga because she was working all the time. Clients were calling her at 9 p.m. She was tired and she answered, and she was taking care of everything. So she couldn't be very creative, and she started to hate her job. She started to feel like, maybe this is not for me, but maybe I should change career because I'm tired. I don't know where to go. So we start by trying to help her first to find those limiting thoughts, and that with empathic people and creative people, a lot of the times have to do with limits and boundaries. Because we are empathic, we think that we cannot say no to no one, because we think being empathic means say yes to everything. So we find out that we don't have time because we are always working, we're always doing things for other people. So we worked on that with her, and we tried to change her behaviors and show her that setting boundaries and finding limits between her personal life and her professional life was very necessary and very helpful for her, for her energy. So she started working on her room to set aside a space for her work, her desk, and another space for her own care, self-care, nurturing herself. So she found a place in her room to do that. Then she started being creative with her own room. And that was something that was very surprising for us when we started this program, is that most designers don't have a room that represents them. They don't have a room that shows who they are. It's not a room that they can, where they can be creative. So it's very, very, very common to find that. And she started painting walls, and she started changing her furniture, and she started buying things. And she started being creative again in her own life. She started doing yoga again. And now she's working. She's working as a house coach. She didn't have to stop being a designer because that's what she loves to do. She's still a designer, but she now finds purpose in her work. Now she loves her work. She has time to do other stuff. She earns money the same, sometimes more, because house coaching gives you the way of the opportunity to work at your own time. You still can have a lot of clients because you can work online, so you can have more people at the same time. And she loves her work. She's so motivated. She's full of energy, and that's what makes us work and live for.
I think that is a super inspiring story, Sisi, because I also feel identified with everything that you're saying. I am a designer also, and if I can take a minute to talk about this, I used to think that my purpose as a designer was to sell furniture to people, because I used to work in retail. That was what I did. And for me, finding that purpose, finding that design was not only selling people things that they didn't need, but to connect with them, help them, that I can tell you changed my life. And I think the Institute focus on that, on giving all these designers and all the architects and all the people who want more from their careers, the opportunity to learn what is their purpose and how they can use it with their clients. And that makes a huge difference, and it's a very, 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 very big impact. So for all of those designers who are interested in what we do in the certification, you can go into the House Coaching Institute website. It is housecoachinginstitute.com. And Sisi, can you tell me the email? I think it's info.
housecoachinginstitute@gmail.com or info at housecoaching.
info@housecoachinginstitute.com. So right now I would like to know, for everybody that is connected, if they have questions for Kirsten and Sisi about this theme that we're talking about today. So let me know, do we have any questions?
Mappy?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to take a few minutes, because I think there's something that I wanted to expand on, and maybe it's useful.
Yes, of course. That this space is for that. So go ahead.
I think it's interesting. Maybe Kirsten, you can share with us a little bit about how has it been your journey, like in terms of transforming your purpose, because I think that's very, very useful for young people who are listening, who are being inspired by us. We are a little older than our students, and that's okay. And I think it's useful that they know how we started, and maybe our journey. Like we didn't know this when we started. Like what we know now, we didn't know back then. And we also were looking for success and for professional development. But I would like you to expand a little bit on your journey, on how you have been changing your meaning in life, your purpose through the years. I think that would be interesting.
Yes, I would love to. And you were so right, Sisi, because I dreamt of becoming an interior designer all my life. like all my life, even with Barbie dolls. That's what I wanted to do, decorate rooms for them. I didn't care about the dolls at that time, but the decoration, absolutely. And then when I finally studied interior design, I felt at home in the aesthetics. And when I started working, it was a lot about approval. Like if the clients loved what I did, maybe they loved me. But again, if the clients didn't like what I was giving them, then maybe they didn't like me. And it was like being in a bungee jumping, years of approval, disapproval. And it reminded me of being my upbringing with my father, which was the same thing. If you're really nice, I love you. If you're not really nice, I won't love you. And we know from coaching that a lot of women feel that way. So for me, it was about having recognition for maybe 10 years. And when I was finally on Danish television, I wrote books and people read my books, and I was in magazines. I felt that I had the recognition, but I still had that little hole inside of me. I was not connecting with my purpose. This was not my purpose, being rich or famous. What I thought that was my dream. And then I had the most richest clients in the whole country. I started working in Italy. And also I worked with a big Danish brand. I published more books, I traveled the world. But when I met people after the talk, and they were crying because I talked about what I called that time house coaching. I didn't really know the depth of it, but adding coaching to home design. That's when I met my purpose. That's when I knew my purpose is not only adding empathy, coaching, and everything to home design, but it's to train architects and home designers. And they were almost begging me, Kirsten, how can I be a house coach? And I thought, I have no idea. I don't know how to lead that. I don't know how to do that. So we invited, and Sisi was one of them, 13 volunteers to take out of my head and watch me for a whole year to actually create the basics of what we're teaching today. And then we had this amazing first group that went through it. We had 8 people were certified around the world, and we started attracting those beautiful people who are part of our team now. And we developed, after the pandemic, this online digital beautiful platform that we're teaching from right now. And we have students from India, United States, Europe, and Latin America. And no matter the culture, it's always about connecting with that little hole inside of you. Yes, you may have achieved everything you dreamt of. Yes, you're making money. Yes, you're having clients. You're even maybe put in a magazine, or in my case, on television. But that little voice is just calling you. Why am I doing it? Just for me? Or am I doing it actually to have an impact, a lasting impact on the world? So to take out the ego is very important, and to put in the purpose, because that makes you shine. No matter if the client likes your proposal or not, it's not about you, it's about them. Always about them. And they mirror something of a limits inside of them to you. So even now that I do speaking events, some places they love me, some places they don't get me, and that's okay. I'm still okay, and I believe in my purpose and what I'm doing, and is freedom to me. Freedom to not be dependent on my ego in what I do, but to see the impact of what I can do. That is beautiful.
That is beautiful. And hearing you talk about this purpose that you have, I would like you to explain to us a little bit about how coaching meets human needs, because I know that's part of the purpose. And we would love to know a little bit more about that.
Well, first of all, in school, I was taught the pyramid of needs by a philosopher called Maslow. It's a triangle that is divided in 5 layers. And he discovered that human beings have the same basic needs and higher needs. And the basic needs is actually to have that security in life, like a place to stay is how I translate that. Well, now that I call it the Steno pyramid, it has to have a name what we're doing. So people need a place to stay. That's basic for everybody. That's what homeless people don't have. And that's why we would love to make an impact also for those people when the time is ready. But the next thing is it has to be practical. That's layer number 2. If it's too far away from the school, it's right next to a highway, if it's full of mold or anything else, we put a little sticker on the mailbox because we're not staying, we're not painting, we're not buying anything. So if it's not practical, we're not moving to the next level, which is love and belonging, where you actually have a name tag, where you buy things for the home, you start painting and buying plants. That is the first time, because I'm going to stay here. I'm going to put my roots down. So I'm buying even the smallest little plant can be a sign that I'm staying. This is where I belong for now. And I want to love it. So I'm going to give myself love through this space. And that's where home design usually stops, because the next need is my values. What are my beliefs as a person? What are my values? So when I enter a home through the back door, and I do that sometimes to provoke a little bit, people start excusing, like, oh, I'm so sorry for the school bags, the shoes, the dog, everything. And I ask, can I borrow your bathroom? I can see the film going inside their head. What's the bathroom look like right now? Because they have the values of tidy people, of being on top of everything. Nobody is. So, and I know that. But the values can also be, what do I put on my walls? Do I buy art pieces because my value is that I earned a lot of money and I worked as a lawyer my whole life and I really worked hard and I want to show myself that I have worked very hard to buy an expensive piece of painting? Or is it because I love colors and nature, so I'm buying secondhand paintings of flowers and I'm putting very cheap paintings on a wall because it means something to me? Or is it important to me that it's drawings from my children, that they all draw their hand in the kitchen? It's very low cost art, but it's priceless to a mom. So what are my values? That's very important. In order to reach to the top, which is self-realization, where we meet our own purpose, we need to have all these needs fulfilled. But you can, and when you do that, you connect with the home when you enter it, like your phone would connect with a Wi-Fi. You start getting energy from getting home. You start singing. You start putting your hair up, play music, dancing, meditate, find corners for yoga. You do a lot of stuff that people don't do usually in a home. You use it as a charger, like your cell phone needs a charger, and the charger is the most important thing in your life right now, not the phone. You need some place to charge, to find energy, to refill your batteries as a person, as a couple, as a parent. And even children who are so stressed out today, they need a room that fulfills their needs, that has their values, not mom's values, their own values. And down to 3 years, you can do house coaching. And when you go to a senior home facility and you put people in their 90s in there, it's about the values. We're not storing people before they die. We're giving them that sense of accomplishment, of having lived a beautiful life, and to live with gratitude for the final part.
That's absolutely wonderful. You know what I think when you talk about this of the needs and everything, I feel now when I work with clients of house coaching that the purpose becomes like a filter. It is a filter for my room. What do I put in my room? Is it serving my purpose or is it not serving my purpose? And that is a totally different approach to interior design. Because before that, like a designer that works only with interior design, they would say, I can put something that matches the cushions and the table and everything's gonna look beautiful, but is it gonna fulfill the purpose of the person that is living there? That is, I think, a totally different level of how to help somebody through the space and through the decoration. So we have a couple of questions in our social media. So Juan Pablo in Facebook, he wants to know, how has been house coaching changing with the pandemics? Like with this situation, how has it been changing?
It's been changing because now you can work online, like you have to work online. So house coaching, when you have the purpose, the multi-purpose function of a room, how can you do a home office and schooling and family time everything in one room or in a small house? How can you find the common purpose of a room that has multi-functions? That is a challenge for an interior designer, because then we have to come up with design solutions. We still do, because we are designers. But we have that purpose that we can teach people. Where are you going after the pandemic? So what do you want to do after the pandemic? How can you grow as a person during the pandemic? How can you use this little tiny place that you're living, maybe as a cocoon, to become a butterfly? How can you transform and look forward to what you're becoming and what the world is becoming? Because it's not only a bad thing. The pace of life has slowed down, and maybe that's a really, really good thing. And we're looking at what we're doing. Does it make sense anymore? Am I actually making a difference in the world, in my own life? And that's what I think house coaching has been deeper, because people want to decorate, of course, and have remodeling and have new kitchens. But I see my clients with house coaching is now asking the questions, what will be the purpose of the kitchen? The purpose is to have a common vision board for our future, to dream in the kitchen, to have a blackboard where even the kids are drawing the future dreams they have when they come back to school. So you live in the present with a hope for the future, and you accept what is, like loving what is, which is one of Byron Katie's mantras, one of my trainers.
That is beautiful to know in this situation, because it has been a time that has been hard for all of us. I think worldwide, it has been hard for everybody. And I would like also to know your opinion, Sisi. What do you think about this theme, about the pandemics, and how has house coaching been changing in this time?
Yes, well, I think we can use the spaces, the homes, as a metaphor for ourselves. As Kirsten always says in her talks, the house or the home is a mirror of yourself. And I think with these pandemics, we have been forced to go inside, to look to ourselves, to our hearts, to our lives, to our families, to our work in a more deep way, in a more profound way. We have been forced to analyze in a way what we're doing, what kind of relationships we have, how are we helping the people that need us. For instance, when you were talking about the basic needs, I live in a country where the basic needs are not met yet. We have a lot of people having trouble finding a home, having food to eat, and we believe that if we start by the home, if we do work with the home, like for instance, if you work with a big executive and you help them heal their wounds, he's going to be a better boss, he's going to be a better father, he's going to hire people and help his employees. So we believe that we are helping to change the world. And I think the pandemics only did that general in the world. We already knew that, and some people knew that, but now everybody's thinking about it, and everybody's feeling the need to heal themselves, to have a calm environment, good feelings of love and belonging, so they can go out into the world and do good. That's how I see it.
That is beautiful, and I think it's absolutely necessary right now. And I have another question here. What is the most important thing for you as a house coach, and what makes you happier? So this is a question for the both of you, so I would like both of you to answer it. Kirsten, you can go ahead, and then Sisi, you can tell us your answer to this question.
Ooh, I could spend hours. So, what makes me so happy?
Go ahead.
First of all, the purpose of teaching in the Institute. I have to start there. Because when we have these interior designers and architects coming in to be trained, they first meet Sisi and they know their purpose, and then I meet them in the room they're embarrassed about. We go through what we call the 4-wall exercise. And within 15, 20 minutes, when I see the transformation and the pain leave them and see how creative they get, and we watch the recordings when they do it with test clients, we cry or we have goosebumps. We're like, oh, this is so emotional because it is beautiful. And you see test clients letting go of pain. And we know that they will share it with family and friends. So by putting in that little pebble years ago and see how it unfolds, that makes me so happy. Another thing, when I leave a client where we have been doing house coaching, I always sit in the car before I go in. And I find my heart and I find my peace, because some of them are broken. Like they're like a doll where the arm is broken off, it's glued to it, but they're broken. And they're broken in many places and maybe in their soul as well. And I need to go into my heart to have that compassion when they are judgmental about my advice or they are afraid to open up. I just need to go in, and I know why I'm here. I'm not here for the money. I will make money, but I'm not here for the money. I'm here to heal you. I'm here to give you a better life. And then when we see the transformation of those people waiting until they can't see my car anymore after an hour and a half, I have to stop somewhere because my eyes tear up with gratitude that I get to do this every day. Or when I close the computer and I have 3 sessions online with somebody in a remote corner of the world, and they are so grateful because now they are so full of hope. I thank God every day that I get to work with this because it makes me so happy. And yes, it also gives a really nice income, but that's not my purpose. I get to be an expression of love, give hope, and restore faith.
So we can say that that is your purpose, what you just said. That's wonderful. And Sisi, how about you?
Well, I think I would have to say, actually yesterday I was looking at a video of a session that one of our students did, and Mapi here, Maria Paula, who is a mentor in our institute, she was the mentor for this student. And she texted, "I'm crying to see this beautiful session. She made me cry." That is happiness for me. That is happiness because it's a chain of happiness. I train Mapi, and Mapi is training another student, and that student is going to a home and is making a transformation. So I can die after that. I mean, I fulfilled my purpose. It's like happiness in a video. I totally feel like the energy comes back to me, and I can, because I used to feel so powerless. How can I do good? How can I help people? It's like, what can I do? Charity doesn't do it for me. Like I can give money and that doesn't really help people. But this is helping the world to become a better place. Yeah. I'm actually changing the world, making people feel good about themselves in their homes with their children. So I feel happy when I do that.
Yes, Sisi, I feel so identified with what you're saying, because this girl that you're talking about and this session that you're talking about is, like you said, one of my students. And I also feel like goosebumps and I tear up because it's so amazing to see how they fulfill their purposes, how they help their clients fulfill their purposes. So it is a chain of giving people like another reason, a reason that is not outside, but it's inside, to work and to be happy. Yes, Kirsten, please go ahead.
I just comment, I know which one you're talking about. And she's an architect. Yes. And we thought in the beginning that architects didn't really know how to implement it to the work. But it turns out that we have many architects right now, and they're connecting so much with the space and the people, not only the building, but what they're designing for people. And that makes me so happy that we, in the future to come, have people designing spaces to meet the needs of the human beings. Yes, Sisi, I could die after that too. Not that we are. We can.
So now we have 10 minutes left, and I would like to give you some space to give the final clients or the architects, designers that want to become house coaches, like the final tips of how to work with purpose, or the final thoughts about this theme that you want to leave to the people that are watching us. So please go ahead. Please, Sisi, you can start. What are your final tips about this theme that we are talking about today?
Okay, I would like to talk to the people who feel empathic, who feel the pain of others, because I think we have been struggling in this difficult world that doesn't recognize empathy as a wonderful skill. I would like to tell you that it's a wonderful skill to have, but you need to use it in a wise way, in an intelligent way, because you have to take care of yourself first in order to help people. And that way you have to know what your strengths are, what you're good at, what you like to do, what makes you passionate in life, what you do well, and you see, and I'm good at this. I love to do this because I'm good at it, and I can do good with this. You don't have to become a missionary in Africa to do good. You can be an architect and do lots of good, but you need to know yourself, what you're good at, what you can do actually for people, and be okay, like have good energy, feed yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself in order to be able to go out in the world and actually make a difference.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because that happened to me, and I am a living, walking testimony that happens, that you can be an empathic person and be successful in your job in the way that successful means to you. And to me, it is helping people and helping my clients via the spaces and via the Institute. And that's also what the Institute does, no? When we offer this training that we have for designers and architects and well, all the people that have training in interior design, it's because we know the impact that this will have in the world, in our clients. So for us, it's like something huge, no? And something that we want to share with everybody in the whole world. So now, Kirsten, I would like you to give us like your final thoughts and to leave us with a message about this theme of design with purpose, which throughout this whole hour we have seen that is so important and so relevant, and we would love to hear that from you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody who also behind the cameras for making this happen and working so beautifully for us. I would say, if you've been to watch a movie in the theaters, like a 3D movie without the glasses, if you've taken them off and you just saw, you can watch the movie, everything makes sense. But then you're handed the glasses and you put them on and you say, oh my God, that's what it is. It's coming against me. And if you've been to the 4D version where the seats are trembling, like you can feel everything. I would say that house coaching is the 4 dimension of interior design, because you see and you understand that it's so much deeper than design, and you feel the connection. That is the beauty of it. And once you see it, there is no way you can go back to interior design. I'm sorry to say it. I know people want it, but it's asking you, can we just do interior design if they're not comfortable with the coaching? And of course you can do that. But as a house coach, you are looking for house coach clients now and not for interior design clients, because that's in your past, more or less. You're looking for people who seek change, people who want change. And they look for somebody to help them, like a doula or a midwife. How can I change? How can I have change? It's the caterpillar yelling to be a butterfly. And that's where you can fit the place in the world, because we need you. The world needs you. Whatever country you are in, we need you. Because with you, we can change the world. Because it's not about us. It's about our clients, and it's about you, your skills, your talents, and your place in the world.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those words. And Kirsten and Sisi, I want to thank you for being with us this hour. It has been an honor to be with you. I know that it's not something that you usually do. That's why it's a privilege to have you here talking about all these things that are so relevant nowadays and in the situations that we are living right now as humanity in general. So if somebody wants to has a question or would like to contact us in the future, they can contact us through the social media of the Institute. We have our Instagram account, Facebook account, and YouTube account, LinkedIn also. So you can go also to our website, housecoachinginstitute.com, or you can write any questions that you have to our email. Thank you. To our email that is info@housecoachinginstitute.com. So I want to thank you, our audience, everybody that connected with us today. It has been a privilege. It has been wonderful to have you here. I know that Sisi and Kirsten would like to say goodbye, and we hope to do more events like this in the future. So stay tuned, because we're gonna have them in English and in Spanish. So they want to say goodbye to you, and I want to say thank you very much for having this time with us. Would you like to say something? Goodbye.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today. I enjoyed this very much. I feel close to the people who are interested in this subject already. If you want to schedule a meeting with us, with Kirsten and me, you can do that. If you have questions about the certification, or you want to ask us about anything, you can schedule us with that with us. And thank you again for being here this morning.
And I also want to tell you that if you're watching and you're not an interior designer, you're not an architect, and you really feel, oh, I want to be a house coach, we have partners that we work with, we recommend you to take a course in interior design and then jump on board. Because you need to know how to do interior design before you can do house coaching. It's one of our basic requests, but it's not impossible. And we are waiting for beautiful students to come who are now training in interior design and taking online courses. Sisi, is it on Udemy?
Yes, it's Udemy or Domestika for the people who speak Spanish also. So we have some courses that you can do. So, and I also would like to mention something, and it's that we have a new certification that it's starting the 1st of June. Yes. We have English and Spanish. So if somebody wants to start, there's still some time. We would have to, like Sisi said, arrange an interview, but I'm sure that we can give you all the information that you need, and we can help you with any doubt that you have.
Yes.
So thank you very much for being with us today, and we hope to see you very, very, very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.